So today, as you are watching here, that the topic which I have taken, this author comes to the examination, it is, a regular phase that Pope is being asked in the examination off and on every year. And my dear students, those who are targeting the 2025, 2026, both the batches are available. The study material new edition, which has the entire syllabus covered with my question and answers, which is a blessing for my students. And the best important part is that the test series and answer writing. I pay single student dedication for checking the answer sheets, making the remarks, giving them the feedback, and all personal guidance. And that is what is needed for the English aspirants to grow. And if you feel that yes, sir, is whatever is saying is correct, just press the like button, subscribe the channel, and you may also take the screenshot of the number given on the screen for any guidance. You can take the appointment for any counseling. That is all free of cost. Nothing you have to pay for any guidance, any counseling. And as a professor in English literature past 25, 26 years, I really owe to my students, those who have followed my guidance and they are still following Pan India. And yes, today's topic is different, but understand that this topic consists of so many answers inherited या in depth उसके अंदर already है. In the rape of the lock, the little is made great and the great little. You might have seen so many questions being asked in the rape of the lock, जो इसी question के आसपास घूमता रहता है. And there is a myth among the MA English students of the entire country that because they are MA English, they have even qualified net, so they can manage it. But in my past so many years of experiences, I have found, I know that the students are unable to. The reason is that the UPSC approach is actually different from the MA English approach. That you can understand when you speak to me, when you understand the nitty-gritties, and then only you can command your literature. There are many things which has to be told to the students of UPSC or any optional exams. So let us start. Take a copy and pen and just listen it properly, that how sir is saying this extempore class from my mind, from my subconscious, from my expertise of 25 years of teaching, that the phraseology, the diction, the vocabulary, the sentence formulation, whatever I am using, it is spontaneously overflow from the mind and heart. And ये जो कला है, जिस दिन आपको ये कला आ गई, जिस दिन आपको ये गुरुमंत्र आ गया, यकीन मानिए आपका सिलेक्शन निश्चित है. अगर आप बुकिश लैंग्वेज लिखेंगे, अगर आप साहित्य को रट रट के लिखेंगे, then things will become difficult for you, my dear students. So I hope कि आप इस सेशन को एंजॉय करेंगे, और अगर आपको ये सेशन अच्छा लगे तो एक बार जरूर से थम्स अप करके हमें बताइएगा कि यस सर, आई रियली लाइक दिस क्लास. फाइन. चलिए, गुड मॉर्निंग ऑल ऑफ यू. जल्दी जल्दी बच्चे आ जाएं लाइव, और आज के सेशन को हम शुरू करते हैं. रेप ऑफ द लॉक, द लिटिल इज मेड ग्रेट एंड द ग्रेट लिटिल. Now, before I come directly solving this question, always remember that you have to write, you have to make the examiner understand that you know the history part, you know a lot about Pope, you know the blending of each and everything, you know about the age, about the framing, and then directly you come to the point. So to understand that, I would just like to start like this, that the poet in Pope, जो कवि है, पोप के अंदर जो कवि है, वो बेसिकली बिलोंग करता था एक एज को, जो एज था प्रोस का, जो एज था रीजन का. सो इन इंग्लिश इसको ऐसे कहेंगे, द पोएट इन पोप बिलोंग टू एन एज ऑफ प्रोज एंड रीजन. It was a great age of critical and political writing. It was a great age of prose fiction. It was a great age of periodical essays. And the poetry of age, as typified in the works of the greatest poet of the time, Alexander Pope, is found to be social, is found to be critical, is found to be satirical. ये तीन वर्ड्स याद रखिएगा, social, critical and satirical. And the great tradition of Elizabethan Romanticism, or we can say Miltonic grandeur, is hardly noted in this poetry, which is usually decried as dry, which is decried as prosaic. Now, Pope, the principal poetic figure of the age, कौन है इस एज का poetic figure? Pope, who is known as the principal poetic figure of the age, is often denied the rank of a poet. उसको कह दिया जाता है कि नहीं भाई आप poet नहीं हो, despite the open admission of the correctness, despite his perfection of his form, of his versification, because of his sad deficiency in the romantic imagination. क्यों कहा जाता है स्टूडेंट्स? क्योंकि ऐसा है कि उसका जो रोमांटिक इमेजिनेशन का जो ऑरा है वो बहुत कमजोर है, which is considered in some quarters as the essential requisite of genuine poetry. और ऐसा लोग कहते हैं कि अगर आपके अंदर रोमांटिक इमेजिनेशन की पावर नहीं है तो ये एक जेन्युइन पोएट्री की कंपल्शन है, जो कि अलेक्जेंडर पोप में नहीं है, इसलिए आप अच्छे पोएट नहीं हैं. नाउ द क्वेश्चन वेदर पोप इज अ पोएट. अब ये क्वेश्चन आता है कि पोप एक कवि है, ये बहुत ही इंट्रिकेट है और अपने आप में ये बुलावा देता है, ये अपने आप में इनवाइट करता है सुपरफ्लुअस कंट्रोवर्सी. बहुत सारी कंट्रोवर्सीज आ जाती हैं एंड दिस क्वेश्चन इज एक्चुअली वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सॉल्व, बिकॉज द एसेंस ऑफ ट्रू पोइट्री, जो एक सच्ची पोइट्री का निचोड़ है, जो एसेंस है, रेस्ट नॉट ऑन सिंगल फैक्टर, किसी एक फैक्टर पे डिपेंड नहीं करता है. नेवरदलेस द क्वेश्चन ऑफ पोप्स want of romantic imagination deserves a thoughtful consideration in order to judge his poetic quality. So ये आपने base बना दिया. You have built a base in your answer sheet before writing and coming to the point. Maybe I have spoken more because I am teaching you. Maybe you don't remember so many things, but when you are writing, you can pick out my words, you can remember my sound, and then accordingly it will help you nourish to get the best marks. And I'm 100% sure students, those who have been studying and or are studying with my classes content, they are actually excelling because the quality which they get is actually unbeatable as per my students. They even say the same thing. So now the little is made great and the great little. इसको अगर आप हिंदी रूपांतर करेंगे तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. इसको हमें हिंदी रूपांतर करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ना इसको हम लिखेंगे कैसे, कैसे शुरू करेंगे? देखिए इसको हम ऐसे शुरू करेंगे सिंपल भाषा में, सिंपल लैंग्वेज में, दैट द रेप ऑफ द लॉक is an epic and this epic is raised out of practically nothing. Now see, I am using the word practically nothing. और देखिए ये दो शब्द जो है कितना कॉमन है, लेकिन अगर आप इसको सेंटेंस में पिरो करके एग्जामिनर को समझा रहे हैं तो इट हैज अ लॉट ऑफ मीनिंग और एग्जामिनर को लगेगा कि यार ये बच्चे ने तो बहुत अच्छा लिखा है. द रेप ऑफ द लॉक इज एन एपिक which is raised out of practically nothing. The epic is built around the rape of the lock of a fashionable ballet by a proud beau. And the theme of the poem is certainly and of course trivial, तुच्छ है, mean है, and the poet's materials are all insignificant. Yet the slight theme and the insignificant materials are turned into a glittering piece of poetry. यही ट्रिवियल चीज, यही तुच्छ सी थीम, यही इनसिग्निफिकेंट मटेरियल, ये अपने आप में एक एपिकल वर्क बन गया, यही अपने आप में एक ग्लिटरिंग पीस ऑफ पोइट्री बन गया बाय अलेक्जेंडर पोप एंड हिज सेंस ऑफ मॉक हीरोइक पोइट्री. नाउ पोप्स पोएम हैज नथिंग सीरियस, जो हमें आपको पता भी है, बट इट इज इन्वेस्टेड विद एन अज्यूम्ड ग्रेविटी. हम ये मान के चलते हैं, अज्यूम कर लेते हैं कि सीरियस तो नहीं है कुछ, लेकिन उसके अंदर गंभीरता है. वी अज्यूम इट्स ग्रेविटी एंड अ डिग्निफाइड एयर, एंड द पोएट्स mock serious objective elevates his little things to the epical heights. उसको जो उसकी छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं ना, वो उसको एपिकल हाइट्स पे ले जाती हैं. While the sublime is subjected to travestry. Indeed, in the Rape of the Lock, as observed by William Hazlitt, जैसा कि विलियम हैजलेट ने कोट एंड कोट में कहा है रेप ऑफ द लॉक के लिए, ये कोट आप लिख सकते हैं, द लिटिल इज मेड ग्रेट एंड द ग्रेट लिटिल. This is an observation by William Hazlitt. Remember this thing. You can use this anywhere. Now, because we are unfolding this question, now you can write that the Rape of the Lock is a rare instance in which the slight theme, जो छोटी सी थीम है ना, उसको ट्रीटमेंट कैसा दिया है? It has been given an exalted treatment, बड़ा ट्रीटमेंट दिया है for satirical purpose. All through the poem, पूरे पोएम के दौरान a pose of importance is given to all that is thoroughly unimportant, thoroughly insignificant. पूरे पोएम में आप देखेंगे जो इंपॉर्टेंस दी है वो टोटली उन चीजों को दी है जो अनइम्पॉर्टेंट है और अनसिग्निफिकेंट है, एंड practically it is meaningless, it is partial, and the very conception of writing an epic on the Rape of the Lock of hair is actually full of comedy. It is funny, which bears testimony to the poet's efforts to make the little great and the great little. वो एफर्ट ही जो है अपने आप में फनी है, और इस बात को ये प्रूव करता है कि जो पोएट एफर्ट डाल रहे हैं वो किस लिए, टू मेक द लिटिल ग्रेट एंड द ग्रेट लिटिल. अंडरस्टूड? I hope that you must be loving the lecture and understanding it very well, because my explanation is, I think, very clear to my students, and it is very simple also to understand. Now, the poem bears out amply how Pope has succeeded in realizing his mock epic design, या mock heroic design, in which little is made great and the great is made little. And this epic frame of Pope contains a mock heroic portrait, and that mock heroic portrait with the whole work which is entertaining on epic poetry. Now what happens? Pope imitates, Pope नकल मारते हैं. क्या करते हैं? Pope imitates the strain of the epic poet in his description even of the slight or the trivial affairs. Now here the students have to bring something contextual, means कि लगे एग्जामिनर क्योंकि आपने पढ़ा है. फिर आप यहां पे लिख सकते हैं that the dream which Ariel brings to the drowsy belly contains much that is humorously serious. The function of the slaves, the effect of their work on the thoughtless brain of a young lady, and the frail nature of a woman are all suggested with gravity that evokes laughter only, जो अपने आप में laughter पैदा करता है. Fine. So I hope that you are able to get the explanation well. Now, here also in the next paragraph you can write about the toilet, point by point, that how it is making great and great little. Belinda's toilet is another engaging account in which Pope has attributed in a very perfectly mock heroic manner the solemnity of a religious observance to the luxurious toilet of the lady, of fashion, of frivolity. वहां पे आपने कंटेंट में, आपने पोएम में पढ़ा होगा, puffs, powders, patches, Bibles, billets are all brought. ये सारी चीजें आपको दिखेंगी. They are all brought on the same table, and the slight and the serious are all strangely synthesized. So, the warning which the arch slave Ariel is giving to his attendants about the impending calamities of Belinda is an equally powerful instance of Pope's gift to balance the light and the serious, the amalgamate, the high and the low. Fine. So in this way, you can write all these things. You can even quote some lines. जैसे एक लाइन है इस कैंटो के, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, but it is from the Rape of the Lock. This day black omens thread the brightest fair that ever deserved a watchful spirit's care. Some dire disaster, or by force or flight, but what or where the fates have wrapped in night. Whether the nymph shall break Dinah's law, or some frail china jar receives a flaw. Fine. So these are the lines which you can even quote while writing your answers. Yes. Now, the suspense of the epic is well sustained, but the effect in the conclusion is strangely different. One does not know actually कि हम हंसें या रोएं, whether to weep, whether to laugh. And yes, now you can write about the game of Ombre, game of Ombre. The game of Ombre introduced into Canto 3. ये किस Canto में आया था? Introduced in Canto 3 is described with the force of a Homeric battle. The green cover of the Ombre table with the heaps of the little cards here and there is termed as a fierce and bloody field of action, where from a good many soldiers of different races have fled away in the state of utter confusion. So the rape of Belinda's locks by the proud baron brings out from the poet an impulsive cry in the vein of the epic poet. But the cry actually constitutes much that is trivial, and simply it gives an amusing gloss of greatness to what is ridiculously insignificant. बिल्कुल भी insignificant है, हास्यास्पद है, बिल्कुल mock है. Fine. So the spirit of the epic battle, ये रेज हो जाता है in the queen encounter between the fashionable bellies, the Buicks in the Canto 5 of the poem. And my dear students, अगर आपने ठीक से पढ़ा है तो आपने देखा होगा कि जो एटमॉस्फेयर है ना, it is made surcharged with the fierce passions of the warring parties and the shouts of the heroes and the heroines confusedly they rise. But it is a strange battle, fought with no common weapons and does not inflict any mortal wounds. Pope हंसता है, Pope laughs, Pope lashes as he raises the little insignificant act of his fashionable men, of his fashionable women, to the thrilling and the bloody affairs of the epic heroes. Fine. So now I would just like to conclude this question, the last but not the least. Gifts of the Poet is the romantic account of the disappearance of Belinda's lock. And the poet brings together legends from the classic and the topical matters from his own age to interpret the cause of his disappearance with mock heroic seriousness. And if you see the concluding lines which brightly shine to exemplify before the world's Pope's triumph in the art of making the little great and the great little. So I hope this lecture finds you happy to understand the content, the integration, the vocabulary, the diction, the phraseology, the guidance, and how much you can attain by building the structures to qualify this exam. I hope that you must all be happy to be a part of OSN classes. और प्रीति सरकार ने लिखा है give the canto wise summary. I don't understand the rape of the law, Canto 1 summary, and literary devices. So, Preeti Sarkarji, I would just advise you that the number is on the screen. You can connect with us on the WhatsApp and take all the guidance. I will explain you everything, not to worry at all. Thank you so much, students. और नेक्स्ट क्लास के लिए, नेक्स्ट गाइडेंस के लिए चैनल को सब्सक्राइब और लाइक जरूर करिएगा. थैंक यू.